don't care what anybody says, that Young and the Restless intro is the best thing that I have ever made on this channel. It still cracks me up to this fucking day. And that is why I decided to put it at the intro to this video. Because not enough people have seen it. That's just it. Not enough people have seen it. That took me like 7 hours to shoot each and every pose. And then it took me another 7 hours to like situate each video in the frame and time and everything so that it looks like the original Young and the Restless TV show intro. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna put it at the beginning of this video. So welcome back to Cosmic Nebula. So I checked my channel and I just realized that the last video that I posted to this channel was in January of 2024. And it is currently June of 2025. And if you are listening to this video, I have uploaded at least 6 other videos to be posted every week or week and a half, because I think that it's a waste for me to upload this video announcing that I'm going to start uploading again if I don't have any videos uploaded, right? Because who knows what could happen in the interim between me making this video and me actually being able to upload more videos. I want this video to be posted when I already have 6 other videos fully edited and uploaded and ready to go on YouTube. So if you are hearing this, that means that I have them uploaded. It has been a year and a half since I posted on YouTube, which is a really long time. I didn't realize that much time had passed. So the reason that I left YouTube was because I was working on a bunch of other stuff in my life, and I felt like YouTube was taking time away from me doing things that are more productive, which is a bad habit in my life. Like, I love bullshitting around and procrastinating and doing other things and making YouTube videos and talking shit on the internet and bothering people and bickering and arguing and learning things that I don't really need. Like, I love doing that. But at the end of the day, it is a form of procrastination and I need to stop doing it. However, I looked at this channel recently and I saw that it had 1,600 subscribers and it had almost 100,000 views, which is pretty decent considering that I think like, oh my god, like 80% of YouTube channels don't ever get over 500 subscribers or something like that. Or like the vast majority of YouTube channels never get more than a certain number of views. And I do like posting to YouTube. I still watch YouTube every day when I'm eating my food, when I'm on the bus, when I'm going to work, you know, I still watch YouTube all the time. So I figure I'm still watching content. I'm still engaging with content. I'm still talking shit on the internet. Why am I not doing it on my own fucking platform? Right? Because every time I'm posting on Reddit, like I have like 4 or 5 Reddit accounts, I get so many likes, so many upvotes. You know, I get into so many situations with people on the internet, and it's just like, people enjoy what I have to say, so I might as well say it on my own platform. Like, why am I giving my energy to other people? Quite frankly, there's a bunch of things that are going on right now in the world that I want to talk about, okay? I just want to rant about it. That's what I want to do, so I've decided that I'm going to fucking do it, and that's that. So, in the last year and a half, a lot of things have happened. And so, in today's video, I wanted to just go over certain points. I want to talk about my health, my diet, weight loss, and I want to talk about my content, right, and the future of this channel. So let's start off with my health. So if you have watched this channel for any amount of time, you know that I have obesity-related stage 3 kidney failure. And I was diagnosed in 2020, just when the pandemic started. And it has been 5 years since I was diagnosed. And in 2025, there's not been any real major changes in my health. It has mostly stayed static, which is a good thing, right? Kidney disease does not improve. The best thing you can hope for is that it stays static and it doesn't start to disintegrate more, right? So I saw my doctor at the beginning of May, and my protein urine was down almost into normal range. And if you didn't know, human beings all leak some amount of protein into their urine. It's normal, but mine is multiple times higher than it should be because I have kidney disease, and that is one way to know you have kidney disease. And when I went to see my doctor in early May, for some bizarre reason, my protein urine was almost in normal range. Like, we don't know why. I told the doctor that it's probably just like a fluke, like a one-off test. But the doctor is happy with it, but I'm pretty sure that is not a sign that my kidneys are improving. It's just a fluke. But it's a good fluke, right? My blood pressure is still normal. And my cholesterol was for some bizarre reason, slightly elevated, which was weird because I haven't been eating anything. This is the healthiest I've been eating for the longest amount of time. And for some reason, it's slightly elevated. But the doctor told me that some people's bodies just cannot manage cholesterol. And there's no real explanation for it. I'm black, so that gives me a predisposition towards having poor cholesterol control, period, just based on race. And so my cholesterol medicine that I take, they make a version of it that has another additional medicine added in. And apparently those two medications together will help to better lower my cholesterol. That's how he explained it. So I'm on a slightly different cholesterol medicine. And I'm still on blood pressure medicine. And I still take Farzica for my kidney health. So my health right now for my kidneys is mostly static, mostly boring, stupid. We don't care because it's not going to change. And so the second thing that I want to talk about, though, is fitness. So last year, in May of 2024, I went to see my nephrologist, which is a kidney doctor. And I did my blood test and I did my urine test, and he told me at the time that my protein urine was too high, my creatine was too high, and these things were all too high. I know because I have been eating bullshit leading up to the test, right? So if you don't remember, I have binge eating problem. Like I overeat, especially carbohydrates, which is why I have kidney disease, right? From years and years of binge eating continuously will give you kidney fucking disease. And so I went to see my doctor. And as I said before on this channel, I used to weigh 135 kilograms, which is about 300 pounds. And I progressively worked down to about 90 kilograms. That was the lowest I had ever gotten to. And that was in 2022. And since then, I have been fucking ping-ponging between 90 kilograms, 95, 98. So last year in March of 2024, I was 98 fucking kilograms. And because I am tall, I swear to God, like, weight fucking just creeps up on you. Like, I don't feel it, right? My clothes all fit the same. I look the same. Nobody around me can detect that I've gained weight. But the reality is I had gained weight. And if you don't know, weight gain is the worst thing you can do when you have kidney disease, because your kidneys are put under more stress the bigger you are, which is why obesity is generally related to kidney disease. And so at that point, like, I realized that I was just in a fucking plateau, and like, even though I walked 10,000 steps a day, and even though I tried really hard to maintain a normal diet, I would eat at maintenance and then go a little bit over maintenance, which caused me to gain weight. I gotten a flyer posted to my door for like a gym that was opening just down the street from me. And so I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to go check out this new gym near me. And so I go in the gym, and it's a really nice gym, really brand new, really well made, and it's only a 10-minute walk from my house. And so in March of 2024, I decided to go to the gym. And I have been to the gym over the last, 15 years, like 5-6 times, right? It's very popular for people to start going to the gym to change their life, and then they eventually quit. And so I have always quit, right? I have always given up after like a few weeks, a few months. I would quit. And this time I was just like, you know what? I'm going to keep going to the gym no matter fucking what. Even if I hate it, I'm just going to go. And so that's what I did. And so now it is a year and 3 months later, and I have been going to the gym for 5 days a week to lift weights for an hour a day for the last 15 months. And in that time, I have learned a lot of things. One of the things that I learned is that a lot of people are really full of shit when it comes to fitness, and that really makes me mad. So if you are somebody and you are listening to this video and you are thinking about going to the gym but you feel like it doesn't suit you, or you feel like you can't do it, or you feel like it's too hard, let me be the one to tell you, as a person who is sedentary, that you should fucking just go to the gym. Go to the gym anyway. And I wish that that sentiment was more popular just in our culture in general. And I say that because now that I have been going to the gym for 15 months, of course, on the internet, I consume a lot more gym related content. And the more that I watch it, the more it gets recommended to me. And what I've noticed in the last year is that The general consensus when it comes to going to the gym is the only reason that you go to the gym is to lose weight and get muscles that other people can see. And in order to lose weight and get muscles that other people can see, you need to eat a very specific diet, and you need to always be in a calorie deficit, and you need to be eating high protein. And if you are not doing all of these things perfectly, then what's the point of going to the gym? Right? That's like the general attitude that a lot of fitness content creators tend to push out. And I don't think they mean to do it intentionally, because in my opinion, a lot of fitness influencers, they are naturally inclined to be fit, naturally inclined to be active. And they just take that natural inclination and they made a brand out of it. And I don't hate them for that. But I would say, as a person who is naturally not inclined to exercise, that attitude that they have is not helpful for me. And because I realized over the last 15 months that the reason I didn't go to the gym was because, well, if I overeat or my diet isn't perfect, well, then what's the point of exercising, right? Exercising isn't going to benefit me. You know, they have that saying where they say you can't out exercise a bad diet. Yes, the fuck you can. And when I say that, I mean to say you might not lose weight, but guess what? Going to the gym still benefits you any fucking way. And that is something that I really want people to understand. Even if you are a binge eater, even if you are fat, even if you are overweight, even if you never in your life count a calorie, even if you never in your life go into a calorie deficit, going to the gym and lifting weights anyway is still good for you, and your body will still see improvement and it will still help you. So I've been going to the gym now for 15 fucking months. And my attitude about exercise has not changed. I'm not a gym girly, right? I'm not somebody whose attitude, you know, I'm very active now and I just really love it and it's really good for my mental health. I'm not that person. This is how I know that I'm not predisposed to going to the gym, because even though I go now, and even though going now is tolerable, and even though I go now, as of this week, I go now 7 days a week, even though I do all of these things, I will still say in my heart of fucking hearts, going to the gym is not something that I overly enjoy. I find it tolerable. And so even though I find it tolerable, I can see and I can admit that going to the gym is still beneficial for me. And I say that because physically, I feel like my body doesn't really look spectacular. And it doesn't, right? My body fat percentage is still too fucking high. I've only lost maybe 10 kilograms in the last year. At least I've lost weight, right? That's a good thing. But I haven't lost as much as I could have if I had kept a very strict diet. And I will talk about my diet in the next part here. But I wanted to say that even though I haven't lost weight, going to the gym 5 days a week to lift weights has been a net positive for my physical body, period. And I say that because, as I said, this attitude is that you go to the gym in order to lose weight, right? To lose body fat. And then other people have to be able to see that you lost body fat in order for it to matter, right? Or you go to the gym to build muscle, but the muscle that you build, other people have to be able to see it in order for it to matter. And so I get recommended all kinds of fitness content where you see the comments and it's constantly people saying that, like, I don't see any difference, or you're actually not that big, your muscles aren't that big. And they imply it so much, whereas this attitude that if that is not the end result of going to the gym, then your body takes zero benefit from exercise. And that's a lie. And I say that because when I first started going to the gym, it was so fucking hard. Like, every exercise that I performed was so fucking hard. And this is another thing I don't like about fitness influencers, is that they don't ever provide any valuable advice for people like me who are predisposed to be sedentary, because everything that I like is sedentary. And they try to give you advice based off their own point of view only, and they can't see it from your point of view. And so a lot of people who are into fitness don't realize, or they don't recall what it felt like to be out of shape, and how when you are out of shape, every single action and movement in the gym feels excessively hard. Like it feels like it is impossible. It feels like it's always going to feel that way, right? And to give you a general idea of what I mean by that, you know how when you are quickly running to like quickly do something, like you have to book it down the street, you have to run really fast. You know how your lungs are burning and you get like a cramp in your side and your leg hurt and your knees hurt. that all of that is a sign of lack of conditioning. And the same thing happens when it comes to muscles. When I first started lifting weights, like lifting the weights, for example, in squats or like hip thrusts, even with zero weights, I'm talking about just the weight of the fucking machines, I would get such strong internal pressure buildup, and it would make me feel like shit, like a little bit dizzy. It would make me feel just awful. Like, it's really hard to describe what that feeling feels like, but I think that if you have ever started getting in shape, you know what I mean. And so when I first started exercising, I felt like it will always feel like this. And I felt like that in the past too. Whenever I would start exercising, I would always think to myself, it will always feel like this. It will never get better. I don't feel this pleasure that other people say that they feel when they exercise, right? Because fitness addicts, they love to tell you about how energized they feel, how strong they feel, how it makes them feel much more productive, and blah, 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 blah. And so I would think like, oh, I don't feel like that, so something is wrong with me. And then I would just quit. Except for that, there is a period of time in which you will feel like shit, and you should just keep going, and that feeling like shit will eventually dissipate once your body gets into some tiny amount of shape, right? And I feel like a lot of fitness influencers, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about how your body will acclimate to going to the gym after a few weeks. And so that's what happened. I felt like shit going to the gym for like the first month and a half, maybe. Like, I felt like it was just work. Like, the squats felt like, holy shit, this is the worst thing that I'm doing. I hate it in my back, in my legs. And like, I wasn't in pain at all, right? Not in any kind of joint pain or pain in my bones at all. Just the action of squatting down, even with body weight, was just the most irksome fucking annoying fucking thing. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was. And that kind of feeling was the reason that I've always quit in the past. But that feeling dissipated. And so I just kept going, and now I don't feel like that at all. And so I wish that that was something that people who make fitness related content told people who are out of shape, right? But they don't think to do that because they don't know what it feels like to be somebody prone to being sedentary. And even though I've been going to the gym, like I said, for 15 months religiously, I am still in my heart a sedentary person. But if you are also sedentary, I will tell you that, yes, you should go to the gym and you should lift weights. And I say that because I don't have any muscles. Like, I feel like I don't have any muscles. When my body fat reduces maybe 10 more kilograms, 15 more kilograms, maybe I'll see it. But I don't actually see anything. However, again, that's another thing that I hate about fitness content, because they focus so much on what you can see rather than focusing on what strength training does for you internally, even if you can't see it. And so because in the past I had so many expectations that I was supposed to see some kind of like muscular change, and I was supposed to see some kind of outline of muscles building, and when I didn't see that, I would just quit because it felt like a waste of time, right? Whenever you go into a deficit, you can see weight loss every week on the scale. And so it motivates you to keep going because you can see that your effort is not a waste of time. But when it comes to building muscle, anybody who is building muscle naturally knows that shit takes a really, 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 really fucking long time. And so you are not going to see physically a lot of muscular or structural changes to visible muscle. At least not a lot of muscle for the effort that you put in. But one thing that people don't talk about is that you see a lot of improvement in strength. And when you see improvement in strength, you can just use that to translate to the fact that your muscles are becoming bigger, and that your body is becoming better at using a lot more muscle fiber in order to perform actions. And that's another thing that I wish fitness influencers talked about. But again, they don't, because a lot of them only really give a fuck about fitness to the degree that it can produce aesthetic results. And I really, really don't like that. So when I first started lifting weights, the initial first week or two or three or four, the first month or two, I was lifting relatively light weights. For example, I was doing dumbbell squats with like, I think a 12 kilogram dumbbell, one 12 kilogram dumbbell. And I remember that shit felt like heavy, and it felt really hard. And then I did like the hip thrust machine with zero weights, y'all. No weights, and it still felt really hard just performing the action of hip thrusting, right? Like, I remember that shit feeling hard. But over the last year, my numbers in my strength and weightlifting have improved a lot, especially in my legs. For example, I started off at 12 kilogram dumbbell squats, and now I do 75 kilogram barbell back squats. And I can definitely go heavier, but I'm a moderate lifter. I'm not one of those people that's going in the gym and I'm gonna do my 1 rep max, and I'm not one of those people. Okay, I'm not out here trying to do the absolute most, so I don't give a fuck. But I do 75 on back squat now, and then I do 90 kilogram in RDL, barbell RDL, and I do the hack squat. You know, I do all of these things, and the thing that has surprised me the most is the improvement in strength, right? And in the lat pull down, I do like 50 kilograms for 5 reps. And then in the low pull, I do 50 kilograms for 5 reps. In the, what is it? It's like the seated row, the 1 arm seated row, where you climb up and sit on the seat. I do, for 1 arm, right now, I just moved up to 42.5 kilograms for one side. And that improvement in strength, even though I can't really see any muscles, for me is a good thing, right? So I can see that I am making some progress. So the thing that I personally enjoy about lifting weights is that it's very funny to think about weights that used to feel heavy to you and how they feel light now. For example, when I do the seated row, I use two 20 kilogram plates plus a 2.5 kilogram plate. But every once in a while, I'll like put just a 20 on there, and then I'll try to pull it. And the lack of effort it requires to pull that weight is just ridiculous. It's like hilarious to me, because when I started out with the 1 arm row pull, I remember I started out with like 5 kilogram weights. And I remember that weight plus the machine, it felt like some kind of resistance. And in like 8 months, it's all the way up to 42.5. So it shows you, in my opinion, that shows you that your body is going through some kind of change. And so if you are somebody where you want to go lift weights and like you get discouraged because you don't see muscles, I would say personally, focus on strength gains and don't focus on muscle gain, because the muscle will come later. And if you are somebody who is fat and your diet is a mess and you have binge eating disorder, or you overeat too much and you can't do a deficit, whatever, who cares? My opinion is that you should still go to the gym anyway, because going to the gym and lifting weights, it is still fucking good for your bones. And it is still good for your nervous system. It is still good for bone density. It's good for all of your tendons. And it's good for your muscles. It's good for your heart. It's good for your brain. It's good for everything, right? Another thing that the fitness industry does that pisses me off is that they focus heavily on like this perfect person going to the gym. You'll see people have this idea like you can't out-train a bad diet. And while that is technically true, going to the gym in spite of having a bad diet will still be a net positive in your life. Like, I wish that was the saying. If you binge ate 3,000 calories last night, going to the gym and lifting weights is still good for your bones. It's still good for your ligaments, still good for your tendons. It's still good for your back. It's good for your legs. You know what I mean? Like, it's still good for you. Yeah, you should probably work on fixing binge eating disorder, but going to the gym in spite of all of that is still fucking good for you. And I really hate that the attitude is that if people cannot aesthetically see the changes, then no change took place. Or that it's not worth doing at all until you get your diet perfect. You drinking 2 fucking gallons of water. You're eating 170 grams of protein. Until all of these pieces come into perfect place, well, don't even fucking bother going to the gym, because it's a waste of time. And to people that think like that, fuck you. Right? I fucking hate people like that. And after the last 15 months of going to the gym continuously, fuck you. Going to the gym is a net positive for everybody, even if you don't like it. And you will start to see improvements in your strength. I don't care how shitty your diet is. I don't care how weak you are. I don't care about anything. It is beneficial to everybody. Beneficial to everybody. And I mean that when it comes even down to like everyday movement. Before, I used to struggle to like bend over. Like, you know how when you're fat, and you bend over and you can feel like that shift of pressure in your body, like that shift of pressure towards your head, and it makes you feel like shit when you sit up, or you feel dizzy, or bending down like in a squat pose to like lift something up makes you feel like shit, or it makes your internal pressure feel really high. Yeah, going to the gym and lifting weights, all of that stuff dissipates, right? Your muscles and your bones become better at performing everyday actions like bending down and standing up and moving and lifting. All of these actions become improved by lifting weights. So that is my 1 year review of weightlifting. Go to the gym, lift weights. It doesn't even have to be really heavy fucking weights. Just try to do your best, and then you will notice that weights that felt really heavy 2 or 3 weeks ago will magically start to feel really light. And as long as you are getting that kind of effect, then going to the gym will always be worth it regardless of diet and weight. And so the second part of going to the gym, must have lost my fucking mind, because now I'm out here running, and I've just started running the last like month and a half. Not because it's popular on social media. I actually really don't like that it's popular on social media, and I really don't want to be associated with those kind of people who run. I just started running because I'm not losing body fat as fast as I would like to, and I think that lifting is not burning as many calories as I would hope that it would. I remember my heart rate when I first started lifting used to be like in the 150s, 60s, 70s, just by performing one set. But over the last year, it has weakened so much that I don't burn as many calories as I did before. And so I figured, you know what, let's just start running. And so I started fucking running. And you know what's really fucking hilarious about that is that once your body is in some kind of shape, then the next exercise becomes easy. So if you have ever run anywhere, you know, you get out of breath really quickly, your chest starts to hurt, you get a cramp in your side, your fucking knees hurt, your feet hurt, everything hurts. But when I started running, I could run for a bizarrely long time, even though I have no preparation in running. And I think that has to do with the fact that I lift weights 5 days a week for the last 15 months. And I say that because running requires a lot of actual muscle movement and a lot of muscles in order to propel you forward. And so even though my cardiovascular system is quite weak, and my heart is beating at like, I think like 160, 170 beats per minute, which is really high. It's like in zone like 4 or 5, which I should be aiming for zone 2. But zone 2 for me is fucking power walking, right? Is zone 2. So the only way to get my heart stronger is to let it beat really fast. So I started to run. And I started to just jog. At this point, I'm jogging at like 7.5 kilometers an hour. And the longest I've done so far is like 11 and a half minutes at like 85. I'm like 89 kilograms. So that 11 and a half minutes at 89, 88 kilograms, in my opinion, is pretty good time, considering that I've never run before. And even though my heart is kind of beating really fast, I don't feel that my heart is beating really fast, and I don't get tired during those 10 minutes. So again, lifting weights has translated to me being slightly better at jogging on the treadmill, even though I've had no preparation in it. And so I am interested now in 2025 to see how good I can get at jogging and then at running, right? Because the last year has really taught me that if you continue to exercise consistently over time, in spite of yourself, your body will improve. And so running is the new thing that I'm trying to improve, as well as losing the last bit of weight. Okay, now I want to talk about my weight. So as I said, last year when I went to see my doctor, I weighed 98 fucking kilograms. I don't know how I gained 8 kilograms, but I gained 8 kilograms. I'm 180 centimeters tall, which is 5'11". And when I gain weight, I don't feel it, I don't see it, I don't notice it, right? Because I'm so tall that weight can space itself out where it's not noticeable. Even to people around me, it's not noticeable. And so I was 98 kilograms. And so I was just like, I need to fucking lose weight. But the reality is, in 2024, I was still eating at maintenance, which is about 3,000 calories a day. And it didn't feel like 3,000 calories a day. Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't eating like fast food, bullshit food at all. But I was still fucking eating 2,700 to 3,000 calories a day consistently, which is why I was still over 90 kilograms. And this is for all of 2024. even though I was going to the gym and even though I was walking 10,000 steps a day, going to the gym 5 days a week for 5 hours to lift weights, my weight has gone down to the low 90s, 90 kilograms, 89 kilograms in only a year. And I know that technically I should have lost more weight, but I haven't, because my diet was shit up until the last few months, because I figured out the thing that was causing me to overeat. And I will talk about that in the next section, but I just want to talk about weight for right now. So right now I am about 89 kilograms. I will weigh myself tomorrow morning. It's been a week, and I will likely weigh in about 89, 88 kilograms, but I've lost about 8 kilograms in the last year. And a lot of that has been body fat, but I have recuperated a lot of muscle on top of that. And I say that because, in my opinion, I don't look much differently than I did a year ago. However, the jeans, all of the clothes that I haven't bought anything new. All the clothes that I have, the jeans all fit a bit loose in the waist and in the hip. And then I bought a weight belt last year, a lifting belt. And I remember that lifting belt having a considerable amount of space in between the two sides when I first bought it. And as of like last week, that weight belt is fully overlapping. Both the sides are fully overlapping, and the one side was pushed all the way to the buckle of the other side. So I had to downgrade to 2 sizes smaller, because even the medium weight belt had like a 2 or 3 centimeter gap in between each side when I put it on my waist. And so in a few months, I wouldn't be able to wear that one either. So I downgraded to the small, and the small has about a 10 centimeter gap in the waist between the two sides when I tighten it, which means that that's the right size for me. So my waist has gotten like, I don't know how many inches, because as I said, I purposely don't measure these things because I know it will stress me out. So if like I don't see some immediate improvement in this number or that number, then I would just rather quit than just keep putting time into something that is not showing a benefit. But I know just based off my weight belt not fitting anymore, it means that I've lost a considerable amount of body fat, I should say. I have lost a considerable amount of body fat just based on that, and I have put on probably like 5 kilograms of muscle over the last year just going to the gym. But the most important thing that I have discovered in the last 15 months is my diet problem. And so now I want to talk about my diet. As you know, I am prone to overeating, and I am prone to overeating carbohydrates specifically. And I've always known this. This is not like a secret. It's not like I don't know which macronutrient is causing me to be fat. Like, I know which one it is. I know that it's always been carbohydrates. I love carbohydrates in every single fucking form. If you told me to choose a food, my favorite food will always be foods that are high in carbohydrates, high in fat, and high in sodium. So stuff like pizza I really like. I like fries, stuff like that, because it's high starch, high carb, high sodium, high fat. These 3 things are the most delicious things in the world to me and to a lot of people. And I'm aware of it, right? No matter what I do, I want to eat carbohydrates. And so even though, I would try to eat moderate carbohydrates, some way, somehow, I would just get so many intrusive thoughts about eating that I would eventually overeat to the point where I would be eating at maintenance, which is 2,700 to 3,000 calories, 2,700 to 3,000 calories a day, which is why my weight was mostly 90 kilograms for the last 3 years. However, at the end of the year, the beginning of this year, I realized that my biggest problem is that I was eating too many grams of carbohydrates during the day, and I was eating carbohydrates too early in the day. I don't know what it is. I can eat carbohydrates moderately so long as I eat them at night. But if I eat carbohydrates in the morning, then I will just feel like I have to keep eating throughout the day, and I will feel like I think about food constantly throughout the day. And I found that when I don't eat carbohydrates throughout the day, that I don't think about eating after I've eaten a meal already. And so now I switched to eating only protein and fat and vegetables and fruit during the daytime. And so this has been going on now for the last 2 months. So my 2 or 3 months that I realized that this is my biggest problem, carbohydrates. I've gone back to eating meat. When I first started this channel, I told you that I was eating vegan animal, because animal protein is worse for your kidneys than plant-based protein is for your kidneys. And so eating a diet high in alkaline vegetables and fruits is very good for your kidney in general, because your body is naturally alkaline, slightly alkaline. And when you eat stuff like carbs and you eat stuff like red meat or meat in general, it causes your blood to become acidic. And so for the last like 2.5 years, I was trying to be vegan and get all of my protein from vegan protein sources. But I found out, guess what? There are no fucking low carb vegan protein sources. And so a big part of the reason why I was overeating is because I wasn't fucking eating enough protein. So because I have kidney disease, they always recommend a low protein diet of like 40 to 60 fucking grams of protein. Yeah, that's not enough protein. And even though I know that eating more protein than that could be harmful to my kidneys in the long term, at the end of the day, yeah, not losing weight is harmful to my kidneys in the long term, right? So it becomes a case of pick this or pick that. And so I decided to go back to eating more protein. And I don't eat crazy amounts. I don't eat like 150 grams a day. I struggle now to eat 100 grams a day, but I eat about 80 to 100 grams of protein a day. And I eat protein in breakfast, and I eat protein in lunch, and then I eat protein and carbs at dinner. And I have found that eating this way has helped me to curb all snacking and curb all overeating or even thoughts about fucking eating. So this whole time, my problem has been disrupting my blood sugar. As long as I don't disrupt my blood sugar, then I don't overeat. And I feel like people will be like, that's common sense, right? Your blood sugar is connected to your hunger signals. I don't know why some people can eat carbohydrates in the morning and they can, just eat healthy carbs in the morning. They can release, they can slowly raise their blood sugar throughout the day. It can slowly decline. They eat their lunch. They raise it again. It slowly declines. They eat their dinner. They go to sleep, right? That's the way it should be technically. But I don't know why that doesn't fucking work for me. The soon as I get carbohydrates in my blood in the morning, my brain, it just continuously wants to have something to nibble on, something to eat, some bullshit, some sugar, something. But as long as I don't alter my blood sugar throughout the day, I am fine. I don't know why this is. And people I think will be like, well, you should do keto. Yeah, I've done keto before. And I can't do no carb, but I can do moderate to low carb, if that makes sense. So I figured it out finally. I need to do moderate to low carb and eat carbs later in the day. And I need to eat healthy carbs later in the day. But I found that even if I eat processed carbs, like a small bag of chips, if I eat it with dinner, I will just have a small bag of chips and then have 30 grams of protein and some fruit or vegetable. And then I'll just go to sleep. Like, even if I'm awake though, for like 2 or 3 or 4 more hours, I don't really think about eating anything else. And I've noticed that moving my carbohydrates to the end of the day and into moving to low to moderate carbohydrates, that my carb sensitivity has returned. And so I understand now what people mean when they say stuff like, I don't understand how you can eat that much food and not feel like shit. Because there have been a couple of times where I had a lot of calories left at the end of the day, just because I was busy and I didn't have time to eat for some reason. And so I would have like 1,000 calories left at the end of the day. And I was just like, oh, I can just eat slightly more carbs. Oh my God. Even though I only ate like a few hundred calories worth of carbohydrates, my stomach felt so bloated. And I realized that when people talk about stuff like feeling bloated or indigestion from eating like certain types of food, I realized that those people's tolerance or intolerance to that type of food has not been overridden over time. For example, I am not predisposed to alcohol. Like, I'm the exact opposite. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like the feeling of it going down my throat. I don't like the feeling of it in my stomach. Even though feeling tipsy can feel fun, it's not worth it. Like, I don't like the hangover. I don't like this. I don't like it, right? I don't like the experience of alcohol. But people who like to drink, they like all of that shit, right? So for some bizarre reason, I am predisposed to not like alcohol. But I know that if I continuously force myself to drink alcohol regularly, constantly, and consistently, my body will eventually acclimate to it. And if I continue to do that, I will probably become addicted to it, right? So I realized that that is what happened with me with carbohydrates. And that's probably what happened to a lot of people when it comes to carbohydrates and unhealthy food. Our natural intolerance or our natural ability to not overeat these types of foods has just been overridden by years of overeating them, right? You get to the point where you eat carbs so frequently that you don't feel the bloat, or you eat it so frequently that you don't feel the indigestion anymore, right? Your body just starts processing it faster and it learns how to deal with it. But in the last few weeks of eating moderate carbs only at night, I can't deal with it anymore. So on the off chance that like I'll have something that's like really high carb, it makes me feel so fucking bloated. And it's like, okay, now I get it. Like, I get what people say when they say, like, I don't understand how you can fucking eat that. I would feel so bloated. I would feel awful after eating that. And that feeling is enough to discourage me from doing it again. And again, this is not a binge. I'm talking about, I have gone so many weeks eating like 100 grams of carbohydrates that whenever I ate like 150 to 200 grams worth of carbohydrates, and then, of course, drank water, that feeling of them swelling up in my stomach, oh my God. It made me feel like shit. And it's like, okay, I know what people talk about when they say they can't tolerate this food anymore. And I realized my intolerance of these foods has just been overridden by years of overeating them. But for some reason, that intolerance is now back. And I get indigestion when I overeat carbs now. I get really bad indigestion, and I don't want to even eat breakfast the next day. That's how bad it gets. And I also think it's because I'm getting older that I don't want to eat like that anymore. But if you are fat and you are a binge eater and you feel like you can't like let go of carbohydrates and you need to have them in your life and you don't know, like you feel like it's too restrictive to stop eating as many as you eat, I am here to tell you, as a person that used to probably eat like 1,000 fucking grams of carbs a day, that feeling is something that you have normalized in your body over years of effort. And that if you stop doing that, you can reverse it. Your body will reacclimate to not being able to tolerate carbs as much as it should. And you can do that by reducing how many you eat. So if you are somebody like me, I feel fine in the morning when it comes to like blood sugar. My blood sugar is stable even if I run. I ran this morning I was on a treadmill this morning for like 45 minutes. I ran for like 20 minutes of those 45 minutes in intervals. And I didn't eat any kind of carbohydrates this morning before I went to the gym. And I feel fine. And my blood sugar feels fine through lunch. My blood sugar feels fine until I eat dinner. Like my energy level is fine. If you're somebody who can maintain their energy levels throughout the day without eating carbs, then you should try not eating carbs throughout the day and then eat them only at dinner. So sweet potato, bread, bananas, all of that type of shit. You should try to put all of it at the end of the day and then eat it alongside. And so I found that doing this has helped me a lot in order to control my appetite. So I no longer snack anymore. I eat my breakfast and then I go to the gym. I come from the gym, I eat lunch, and then I go to work. And then when I'm at work all day long, I don't think about eating anything. And if somebody offers me food, I don't eat it, right? I'll hand out food to other people and I don't have that like crazy thought process about how I have to eat that, I want that, or I have to deny myself that. That whole thought process is dissipated so long as my blood sugar remains stable. So finally, I want to talk about content. So I have not uploaded to YouTube. A big reason I realized was that because videos were taking way too fucking long to edit. And the reason is because of my own, I guess, just my own vanity, because I want to make something that is, in my opinion, creative and unique. That's the reason why I did the alien mask and the costume. And that is the reason why I did the whole black background. And then if you see my older videos, you'll see me in the background, like with multiple posters and multiple sayings and multiple things. Like, I don't know, that's unnecessary flair, right? People will say, well, that's really unnecessary flair, Cosmic Nebula. Okay, it's unnecessary, but I enjoy it. Like, it makes me happy. But all of that shit takes a really, really, really long time to shoot and edit. And so because of that, I stopped making videos. And another reason why I stopped making videos is because I realized that I don't like to write scripts. Again, that's another thing. This video right now I'm at 47 minutes. And after I edit it, it'll probably still be 40 minutes long. But I don't like reading from a script. And I should have known that about myself, right? Because everything I do is off the head. And I feel like I do better when I can talk off the head. And so that's another thing that I don't like, because I don't know, it just feels inauthentic when you read from a script or you write a script. And I felt like whenever you read about like how to make a YouTube video, they always recommend that you write a script and you make this really excessively organized system in order to do it well. And I know that like a lot of YouTubers do really well in that format. I understand that. But for me personally, number one, I don't want to do that. And if I try to do that, I get really burned out and it makes everything feel excessively like work. I love running my mouth. I'm a professional mouth runner, but I don't like all of these other administrative things that you have to do in order to make a video. Why? And number two, I don't even watch content that is excessively edited or excessively prepared. Videos I know on the internet right now that are really professional quality, they have a script, they have a bunch of camera shifts and angles and changes and fucking the video is edited to death, right? I don't even watch those type of videos. Like, I don't like them. The videos that I primarily watch are ones where the editing quality is pretty low, and where the person is mostly just talking or reacting. And so I am moving exclusively to reaction style content. And this content, I know in the past, I have focused a lot on like weight and eating habits and stuff like that. But even that, like, I don't want to be pigeonholed into talking about just weight related stuff. And I realized again, that's another reason I stopped uploading content, because you are always recommended to find like a niche and stay in that niche and like talk about that same or similar topics consistently for a long time. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't work for me because that's not who I am, right? I'm interested in all kinds of things randomly, and I will spend like a certain time, months usually, focus on one topic, hyper focus on one topic, or hyper focus on learning something, and then I'll move on to something completely unrelated to it, right? Because I just like to learn and to see and to know and to talk about all different kinds of things. And that's another reason why I got bored with YouTube, is because I don't want to be stuck talking about the same one or two things. And so I just decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to upload content talking shit about all kinds of things that interest me. And I want to make that content for people who are also interested in all different types of topics, because that's who I am, right? And so I have to focus on who I am, because that's the only thing that will make me motivated. And when I'm on the internet, I see so much fucking content that is just ridiculous and somebody should talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it. So as I said, if you clicked on this video and you are watching it, I have at least 6 other videos uploaded. Right now in my phone, I have a list of content that I wanted to make. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to post whatever the fuck I feel like posting. How about that? I'm going to post what I want to post. And if you are interested in hearing somebody rant or talk about different topics, and that's just what you like to do, then this is the channel for you. And so this video is very long, and so I will stop talking now. And I will see you in the next video.